Hey, so I'm going to do a quick overview, as succinctly as possible, of how we as in the Brain and Body Foundation address dementias, specifically Alzheimer's disease. And it's not a specific personalized approach because, quite frankly, to do that, you would have to do all kinds of tests and you have to really be have the specialists look at different things. We can't afford that in Africa, especially in third world countries. So we try to look at the overview and we approach it from the basic fundamentals. How does the brain work? What does the brain need to work? What are the nutrients? What are the circumstances that it needs to function the way it should? And then what are the things that we need to take out, like toxins and all that, to ensure that the brain is given a chance or given the room to work like it should. So again, it's more like a holistic strengthening, supporting system. And of course, the federal government has given us the fall back into approaches from this angle. There weren't much of the choices, really, quite frankly. I mean, even in the US, it's still pretty tough to get good results from Alzheimer's disease, especially the more moderate and more severe forms. So let's get into it. About seven areas that we support. Obviously, the nervous system, the brain and the nervous system. But here's the thing: less than half of your brain cells, no, excuse me, less than half of the cells in your brain are actually neurons. And as you've probably seen from our other presentations, that the problem with Alzheimer's disease actually starts with the neurons and with the synapse. So right here is the synapse, right? So basically, a synapse, basically impulses have to be transmitted from one neuron to the other neuron, right? So the other neuron receives it, and then on and on and on and it goes. This is how your memories. That's how memories are formed. This is how you move your limbs. This is how you see. This is how you receive. This is how you speak. It has to happen at the level of the synapse. Okay, so from one neuron to the other. In Alzheimer's disease, the synapse begins to collapse all over the brain, starting with the memory center, the hippocampus. And so that's why memory is probably the commonest symptom that people see. So what we want to do is not just deal with the synapse, we want to deal with the supporting cast, all the other billions and billions of cells that help to make the synapse work. And so we get into that. There are specific supplements that we use and nutraceuticals that we use, but that helps as well. The next one is the endocrine system. The hormones are super important. There are about 7 hormones. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hormones that the brain is involved in, but there are about seven that have the greatest effect. Obviously, insulin is one of them. Cortisol is another. But then we're talking about the sex hormones. If you've noticed, or maybe you haven't, but women are twice as likely to get Alzheimer's disease than men are. And it usually is around the time of menopause when the estrogen levels begin to plummet and even estrogen progesterone begin to plummet. And that's this imbalance. Men also have Alzheimer's disease, but they tend to have more support because they can convert their testosterone to estrogen. Anyway, there's a lot involved in that. Our basic thing is to give building blocks to the brain, to the body, to help the body create the right amounts of the hormones, especially the sex hormones, in the right balance. And that helps as well. That's not the only thing, but it helps as well. The immune system is next. One of the greatest things that I discovered that we found, I hate to use our word discovered because it's always been out there, but one of the things that we found out is that the immune system can actually be a friend or a foe to the brain and to the synapse. Many times we see it as a foe because of neuroinflammation. The immune system gets inflamed. There are specific parts of the immune system that get triggered and they attack the brain. We now know that there are other parts of the immune system that can significantly improve brain function, significantly nourish and support the synapse. And so by supporting the immune system or by supporting those specific cells in the immune system, we can, in a roundabout way, so to speak, help support the synapse. Let's move on to the next one, cardiovascular system. One of the interesting things that we also saw is that pathologists, when they dissect the brain of a person with Alzheimer's disease or an older person, the thing they keep saying is this: they've seen patients or dead people with amyloid plaques in their brain. They've seen patients with amyloid plaques and tau tangles who have functioned well throughout their lives, even before they died, they did not have dementia, even with the amyloid plaques and the tau tangles. They have not seen a patient or an individual who has died, who has had amyloid plaques, tau tangles, and vascular changes in their brain, who did not have symptoms of dementia. So yes, we're going to talk about amyloid plaques and tau tangles, but those are not the key that we've been made to believe they are. There's a lot more that goes into it. And one of the things is the cardiovascular system. How effective is blood flow in the brain, not just to the brain as a whole, but to specific sites of the brain. So we found out that by supporting the cardiovascular system, improving blood flow to the brain, and there are specific nutrients that can help to do that, especially nutrients that help the brain make nitric oxide, which is super important for blood flow, but it's also a very important neurotransmitter as well. So by improving nitric oxide production in the brain, we can make a significant improvement. So we have specific nutraceuticals that help with that. And then I'm going to skip this because I want to say this last. But then there's a detoxification system. The detoxification system is not really a system that we've been taught in medical school, but basically it includes the kidney, the liver, the skin, the lungs, and so on and so forth. We can help support a lot of the things that we see with Alzheimer's disease has to do with toxins. It's one of the key contributors. Toxins are one of the key contributors to brain damage and eventual Alzheimer's disease. We can help to remove or ease the burden on the brain and body by using specific safe nutraceuticals that all they do is to just attract, absorb, trap the toxins, and help you get rid of them, mostly through the urine. It's a product called zeolites, but there are specific kinds. There's a lot out there in the market these days, but there are specific kinds that can really, really do the work. So we address toxins as well. So let's get to this one. Well, I'll tell you what, let's get to the seventh one, is the actually supporting, I'm going to skip this a minute. Okay, the seventh one is actually supporting the brain cells themselves. So we do know that the B vitamins are super important for the formation and the protection of brain cells. We know vitamin D, we know zinc is really, really important. And then, of course, omega-3 fatty acids. 60% of the brain, the dry weight of the brain, is made up of fat. And the most important fat are the DHAs of the omega-3s. So we help to support that as well. And then of course, MCTs, we now know that medium chain triglycerides can also help act as a fuel source to actually nourish and build up the neurons in the brain. So we also address that as well. Finally, let's get to the last one. The last one is the GI tract, or the gastrointestinal tract, otherwise called your gut or your digestive system. If you think about it, everything we're going to do, almost everything that we're going to do that the brain needs has to come in through our digestive system. It has to come in because we don't use drugs, we don't use injections. All we use are pills and potions and powders and all those things that have to come in through the mouth, get into the digestive system, and then be absorbed from the digestive system to do their work in the brain or in the endocrine system or wherever they are needed. The digestive system has to be healthy. And what we're finding out is that for the most part, there are microbes or a combination of microbes that actually trigger Alzheimer's disease in the first place, that actually trigger the formation of these tangles, the formation of these plaques. And that if these microbes are taken out of the way, the brain would have a better chance to heal itself. Not just do we have to remove the bad guys, we also have to put in the good guys, the right kind of microbes that will help to regulate inflammation, regulate blood flow, help to regulate stress, help to improve even myelination, what we know as myelination, helping this insulation cover that helps in the transmission of impulses. Myelination is actually, in many regards, modulated and regulated by the bugs in the gut. So we have to address the gut. Allergies to a problem, intolerances, food intolerances, all start in the gut, obviously. And so we have to address that as well. I think it's a big mistake that we omit that. And there's another thing I almost forgot. The teeth. There are microbes in the teeth that have been linked to Alzheimer's disease. in the gum, the mouth, the teeth, wherever. And so we have to address that, which is, of course, part of the gastrointestinal system. So when we begin to look at the whole thing in this holistic view, and we've been doing that now for years now, we've been helping support people. Well, we can't say they had dementia, Alzheimer's dementia. We know for sure they had dementia, but Alzheimer's is a specific diagnosis. Symptoms and signs pointed to that, but because we didn't really do the tests specifically, mostly we can't do the tests. That we didn't really know what it was, but who cares what it is, whether it's Alzheimer's or frontotemporal or vascular, whatever it is. The key thing is that you've got to be able to support the brain, improve brain function. And if it's just simply MCI, mild cognitive impairment, where you're stumbling, your brain is faltering, it's becoming a worry to you, there are simple one-stop solutions that can simply improve overall brain function before you even get to doing this extensive approach to it. You know, just simple supplements that most people don't know about, unfortunately. And we can help you, point you in that direction. So if you want to do more information, if you want to have more information, just simply click on the link below or go to our website and you get information. I tend to stumble at this point over so many times. I don't get it. Anyway, so if you want more information, go to our website, brainandbodyfoundation.org, and we'll point you in the right direction. We can point you to specific supplements, specific nutraceuticals that can significantly help improve brain health. But if you or your loved one are so far gone, and you need to have, this is severe form, moderate to severe, then you definitely need an overall approach to it. And that's what we're talking about here. So thank you for listening. God bless. Bye.